Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve.
Good day, viewers around the world. My name is Mark Godwin Iweajuwan, and it's a beautiful Friday here in Milan, Italy. We've come to give our Friday update in what we term global world affairs. Joining me from different parts of the world are my colleagues and friends. Right there in Lagos, Nigeria is our man, Ogbeni Olayinka Raji. Ogbeni Olayinka Raji, good morning.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, viewers around the world, around the globe. Welcome to our Friday program.
Welcome indeed. And you're looking upright, you know. You're welcome. So he's busy doing his daily activity, but he has to be with us. And that's our man in London, UK, Femi Oke. Femi, you're welcome.
Thank you. I wasn't really prepared for today, but I'm happy to be here.
No, we listen. We understand how it is. These are some of the things our viewers need to understand. Nigerians in diaspora are one very hard-working set of people. We wake up every morning, we find something to do, we do it with our hearts, we do it with our soul, and somehow we have become the social service that the Nigerian government doesn't give to the people. Is that not so, Femi?
Absolutely.
We help our families, we help our people, and that's because we're working here. I mean, you have to work, you have to wake up and do something. But we know a lot of people do that too in Nigeria.
We've got to pay the bills.
Yes, we have to pay the bills. So, guys, it's Friday, and it's the day that Hunter Biden is going to be by the end of this day, 7th of June. We will know what becomes of the president's son. That's American president's son, Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is in the federal court on charges for gun possession. His trial actually is a funny one. He's having like 3 alleged offenses pertaining to purchase of gun in October 2018. And that charge is because also he was going through a struggle. He was going through a struggle of crack, cocaine, alcohol, and all these things. And now we know that addicts are not supposed to be in possession of guns. So he lied to buy a gun, and he got the gun, and now it has become an offense. So, guys, we're talking about Hunter Biden, the president of America's son. Now, the interesting thing about this whole story is that the widow of the president's first son is called Bill Biden. He died in 2015. Now, the wife of that President Biden's first son became Hunter's girlfriend. That's the brother's girlfriend, and she's the one also standing and giving out some of the trial statements. She's the one saying a lot of things, opening up a lot of things. So this is what we're following. I don't know if we should play a video for viewers to have a clue, to have an understanding of what we're trying to say. Then we'll come back, guys.
We're here in downtown Wilmington, Delaware, where the trial is getting underway for Hunter Biden, the president's son. He's charged with 3 felony counts linked to his purchase of a gun in 2018. The government alleges that he lied on a form when he said that he wasn't a drug addict, when he has said that he was addicted to crack cocaine at the time, according to his memoir. One by one, the judge has questioned approximately 50-some jurors to ask them about their views on not only the Biden family, but guns and drugs, and whether or not they feel like they could be fair and impartial, despite some strong views that they may have. Jill Biden, the first lady, was in the front row. She was flanked by one of her daughters and also her daughter-in-law, Hunter Biden's wife. During the break, Hunter Biden came over and leaned over the railing in the courtroom and embraced and kissed his mom on the cheek. So, very visible show of support.
Yes, gentlemen, we all know what's happening there now. Viewers, that's what is happening. That's the president's son. The American President Biden used to have two sons. One passed away 2015, and this second one actually has had so many issues surrounding him. Now he's in court, and by the end of today, like we said, we will know his fate. So the prosecutors will be expected to give his case today by 9 p.m. American time. So let me start with you, Femi. I know you're busy, but at least you can make out time to talk. How do you see all of this? It's president's son in court, and one thing when the jury sat, the first thing they said is, no one is above the law. The law makes no distinction for nobody. The son of the president, if found guilty, will face the wrong. So, yes, how do you see this, Femi?
So the way I see it is that they're politicizing this whole thing as an equivalence because Trump has got his issue. So now Biden, so they're like, but they're saying that they've dropped all the other corruption issues because there were other corruption allegations, but they didn't have any merit. But with this case, look, I think that Hunter Biden should have done the needful and pleaded guilty. You understand? If he pleaded guilty, he would have a remission in the sentence and all that kind of stuff. And then people might have sympathy for him because, of course, he was a drug addict and so on. And the other thing is the duplicity of the Republicans who believe that everybody has a right to a gun and there should be no rules in terms of having a gun. That everybody should, I think the Second Amendment, everybody should have a gun, be respected. So, but now they seem to be supporting gun control because obviously if you have to take measures to see if you're on drugs and whatever, or whether you commit an offense, that means that's a level of gun control. But most Republicans, diehard Republicans, don't even want any regulations on guns. So for me, if he's found guilty, they should, make him pay the ultimate price. You understand? Because there should be no leniency for anyone, no matter what position that you're in. That's my view.
You talked about Donald Trump owns case, and his sentencing, like we heard, will be coming July 11th. But it's not about. I really don't think it's about that. I think it's about law taking its course. I mean, you fall in, you're found guilty of falling to.
That's what I said.
That's it. Yes. So Hunter has fallen to this. He had issues. And interestingly, the issues he had was so many. We can't say the Republicans set him up. These were his.
No, I'm not suggesting that. What I'm saying is they're just using it for political capital. At the end of the day, he's obviously a person in a vulnerable state, having to be addicted to drugs. And that should be a mitigating factor for him in a way. But it would have been good if he had pleaded guilty. Now he hasn't pleaded guilty, the full sentence should be passed on to him. There should be no leniency because he's the son of the presidency. And also, if they convict and imprison Hunter Biden, I think we should have quid pro quo and make sure that Trump also gets convicted and imprisoned.
Okay, viewers, if you're seeing the photo there, the photo you're seeing, that's the Hunter Biden, the president's son, and he's in court. He's standing trial for gun issues. Also, let's take note that he has pleaded not guilty, yes, but if he's convicted, the president's son could face up to 25 years in prison, and that sentence could be very extreme, considering the fact that he's the president's son. Now, let's look at something again, Raji. Apart from the gun issue, there are also some very crazy issues. Hunter Biden actually had some series of things. He was into some sexual acts. Meanwhile, take note that the lady you see here that stood in court yesterday and spoke against and made all these allegations is the brother's wife, the senior brother that passed away in 2015. And that's the lady there. And when the senior brother passed away, the junior brother took over her brother's wife. And what she said is Hunter introduced her to drugs, hard drugs, cocaine, heroin, and she also became addicted at a point. But she said she regrets it. She has cleaned herself off now, and she said one thing that was also very that was happening at that time too was Hunter Biden was walking around with guns, and that was scary, like she said. So let's talk about this. Raji, are you following this case, the president's son, with all these scandals?
Yeah. Yes. So I think like Femi said, he should have just immediately pleaded guilty and probably do a plea bargain. But then even this allegation is even very small compared to the serious corruption allegations that he was involved in Ukraine and all other places. But I want to make an observation.
Okay.
You look at Trump and his family, and you look at Biden and his family. In spite of all Trump's seeming brigandage, his family seems to be well kept. None
Very
of his
true.
children is involved in any. Yes.
Very correct.
So, and this is also a revelation to us about the state of affairs in America of their leading political leaders. Between Biden and Trump, the coin is out now for the next presidency. And look at the families.
Interestingly,
Yes.
what you just observed is a good one, Raji. Femi, Raji just observed something, and that's true. From my insight and investigation on the Trump family, do you know all of Trump's children don't take alcohol, don't smoke, and they don't club. They don't go partying and all that. And these were some character traits he built into them from little. Him, Trump, can you imagine? He did this. Then guess something else he does again. He gets them their spouses. He looks around for one gentle good man. He looks around for one gentle good lady and brings them to his daughter and the sons and say, listen, this is the one you married. So Trump has this character attributes, good character he has implanted into his children. But Trump has issues. Femi, go ahead.
That's exactly what I want to say. It's almost a contradiction there, that what he's done and how he built his family is fantastic, and we applaud him for that. But when you look at him personally and the profanities that he opens his mouth and says, and the way that he behaves and his unhinged behavior, there's a complete contradiction there. But what is also striking is the similarities between what's happening with Biden and African culture. Because I know in some African cultures, when your brother's wife deceased, family members take on that wife. I didn't know that. I didn't know they did that in America too. So this is a strange one for me. I don't know whether it was intentionally or he manipulated her, but it's a quite interesting situation.
Yes, no. If he had married her, that would have been in that line of that culture. It's a Jewish culture, actually. It goes back in time.
African culture has nothing to do with the Jews. There's not many. We have it as well.
Africans do it. But in his case, he didn't take her as a wife. He just had her as a girlfriend, and
as a girlfriend.
And that was it. Anyway, viewers, we are watching today. And by the end of the day, we will know what the jury and the court will be saying on Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is standing on gun trial, and we will know how it ends.
Yeah, for me, I just want to say that, look, the evidence appears overwhelming. He should be found guilty, and the full weight of the law should apply. There should be no leniency whatsoever. I'm sorry.
There shouldn't be no leniency whatsoever. That's how we're looking at it. But meanwhile, while all this is going on in Delaware, United States, the father is in France, not too far from me here. So, fellas, let's talk about the D-Day. The D-Day. There's a name called the D-Day. There's an event called the D-Day. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's make it easy for our viewers with some video clips so you can have an understanding of the D-Day and what happened yesterday while we were all in our corners. So let's see this clip from yesterday.
Can I borrow some of your hair? My age, 100 years. Oh, 100 years. I love you. I love you.
Seeing there, viewers, are pictures, a video of American President Biden meeting with some old, some veterans, some World War II soldiers. They are now old like him, and but these men fought on the D-Day, and we're coming to explain what that means. So let's see more clip from there. So
distinguished guests,
what
please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin. Distinguished guests, please welcome the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin III.
Yes, we're back. So what you've been watching is clips, snakes peek to yesterday's event, the D-Day. Now, the D-Day, that term is a military code actually for it's a code the military uses it as a beginning of an important operation. So the term is D. The D is for day, you know. So you could say day, you know. Actually, that's how it sounds. So June the 6th, 1944, Allied soldier army from different parts of the world gathered in a beach side called Normandy in France, and what they came to do ended what we know as World War II. So the D-Day, the operation is a code name they've given, and sometimes they also call it Overlord Day, Overlord. And that day, it was a long day. They came together, different armies, millions of men and women that were trained for war, all gathered there in France, Normandy, and they all cooperated together in unity, went against the troop in Germany.
Yeah.
Most of the troops, men that gathered on that Normandy D-Day in France were Americans, they were British, they were Canadians. We even had Zimbabweans, you know, then it was called Rhodesia, and Greece and France and all of these countries. So they gathered all together in one spot as one group of army, and they went against France, Germany, because Germany at that time was waging war against everybody. We all know the story, the World War II. So the D-Day ended the World War II. It was a very, very important day. They defeated Nazi Germany, and they moved on and took a hold of a lot of places. And till today, that day is being celebrated every 6th of June. Every 6th of June is remembered as D-Day. So this year's D-Day is the 80th year they are celebrating it. So it's been 80 years since World War II, the defeat of the Nazi Germany. Gentlemen, let's talk. Yes, I know you guys are warriors too. You guys are war observers and everything. Femi, okay, tell us.
Yeah.
What do you know about?
Well, the thing is, the D-Day was the marking of the beginning of the end of the Second World War and Hitler's defeat. But what is important about this 80th remembrance is that this defeat was by the Allied forces, and included in the Allied forces was Russia, America, US, England, and France and others. Now, Russia was not invited there this time,
Yes,
but the
we're going to talk about that.
Ukrainian leader was invited there. So this is the issue now, and there was a lot of warmongering statements by some of these leaders, allied who were, allies before, against what Russia's doing in Ukraine. But at the end of the day, we don't want
the Allied expeditionaries.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
we don't want to have another third world war, so we must be conscious about that. And then the other thing I wanted to say was that we too in Nigeria, we had our own D-Day, which was Operation Tiger Claw, when the 3rd Marine Commando Unit, headed by our own, I don't know what rank he was, but it's Benjamin Adekunle, the Black Scorpion, when they landed in Calabar. You understand? And that was the beginning of the end of the Civil War, because once they took over Calabar, then they went to Port Harcourt, and then that meant that the Biafrans became landlocked and they couldn't get out. And that was the beginning of the end of our Civil War. So we too should be marking that day in a similar way that the Allies are marking D-Day in the world right now. So because this is why a lot of people don't even know our history and how we saved ourselves from the quagmire of that Civil War, because it could have still been going on now, So while some are celebrating Biafra Liberation Day, I think that we as a nation should be celebrating the end of that Civil War as well, although we have a different day for it, but this was a pivotal day as well.
Thank you very much, Femi. Before we go on, let's bring in welcome Armand. It's good we are talking about this. Godwin Ibe from Moscow, Russia. You're welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
Am I audible?
Yes. Yeah, you're audible. We just talked about some issues, but we came to the point where I think it concerns you. We're talking about the D-Day. Now, viewers, while we're saying this in our update today, is because today is our global world affairs. So what we do on Friday is talk more on international news, global news around the world, and keep our viewers abreast with what's happening. So the D-Day, like we said, was the day, Femi just put it well, the day that ended everything concerning Second World War. Godwin, the D-Day was marked in France yesterday, Normandy. And the story, what we all know, those of us that follow history, what we know is that Russia took part in the D-Day. Russia had a very strong...
No. Russia didn't take part. Let me correct you there. Russia...
No. Listen. Listen. No, you didn't understand what I'm saying. Russia fought hard against the Nazis on that day too. Russia was fighting from the eastern side of the map. Yes, and Russia was very, very... I mean, it's a known fact. Russia has always also been celebrating that day with America in the time past until this event took place now, this Ukraine-Russia war. But Russia has always commemorated with the D-Day. Russia has always been there anytime they are celebrating it, because Russia also fought against Nazi Germany. So tell me, don't you know about this? You don't know?
Yes. We don't call it Operation D-Day in Russia, and rightly so. And we celebrate May 9th, Victory Day, and we also do not call it World War II. We call it the Great Patriotic War. And the reason for this is very simple. Russia didn't just play any role in World War II. It played the major role. Because it paid the most price. It lost over 28 million people. And the war was fought on the Soviet Union territory. And it was the loss at Kursk that turned the tide and helped the Red Army fought the Nazi Germany down all the way to Berlin. So in Russia, it's not considered just Russia taking part. It's considered Russia playing the major role in both by effort, price, and the eventual pushing back of the Nazi soldiers all the way back to Berlin.
Thank you. You put that right. What I wanted to do, because when you said no, Russia, I mean, that was like you didn't understand what I was saying.
I understand. I'm just saying it because I too was shocked. I too was shocked why it's not called World War II in Russia. I didn't know this initially. But no one wants to call it that, you know. And then I began to ask questions, why don't you call it World War II? Because they say it's really not fair to us to call it that. Because it wasn't really, it was our war.
Thank you. Let's welcome far away Toronto, our man, Sir George Chukwu. Sir George Chukwu, good morning. It's morning on your side, yeah?
Yes, good morning, gangs, and good morning, viewers from around the world. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you. Yeah, so it's a day after the D-Day here in Europe, and America was very involved. We were just talking about that, George, how what that day means and what happened, why it's still remembered to today, why they celebrate it. Leaders gathered yesterday, France, Germany, everybody was there, but we didn't see Russia. And what Biden said is that Russia is. These are the words. Godwin, these are not my words. These are Biden's words. He said Russia is playing. That Putin is playing. Putin is becoming a tyrant, and he's pushing, causing havoc in the world. These were his words when asked why Russia wasn't invited to Normandy, France, yesterday. George, D-Day, Canada was involved. Canada was also involved yesterday in the celebration, commemorating the day. George, what do you say about the D-Day?
Well, I think it's a great remembrance day, you know, to remember those that passed away, and then also to ensure that such a thing never happens again, because we saw generations of people that were wiped away in that particular war. You know, that's the reason why when we commemorate these things, that's why we have to take a step backwards to think about, you know, the children that are being fatherless, and you know, the wives that are, you know, losing their husbands simply because of one individual coming up and saying, you know, I want to take over the world. So, I mean, I know there are conflicts all over the world and things like that, but I believe that negotiation should be the best way to go, rather than picking up the guns like what is happening right now, which almost all the countries, major countries that superpowers are guilty of. So, I mean, when they're celebrating these things, why then don't just sit down among themselves and discuss how to be able to bring the war between Russia and Ukraine, you know, to an end, because the people's lives are being lost, and these are the things that are happening in the world today.
These are the things that are happening. Dr. Godwin, one important fact remains. Where does all of this war, Russia-Ukraine war, where does it take us to? Because as long as this whole thing keeps on, all we'll be having is retrogression. Economically, I tell you, no matter what we say, even if you say numbers are increasing, things are, no. You can't have a bountiful life, prosperous life in war. You can't. People can't be happy in wartime. It's ridiculous to say numbers are increasing, GDP has grown. I mean, let's be honest. Tell us.
Well, I have always, yes. Thank you so much. I think, Ojo, I really liked what George said. Sir George said it was really a spot on. The big powers have to come together to prevent these wars, because basically, when one great power fights a war in its own interest, when it gets the turn of the other one will say, well, you fought for your interest, why can't we? And then there'll be no argument to make. We all need to come together. I've always been supported the negotiations, but at the same time, I've always said that the position of Russia and even Israel, Gaza, this thing were provoked. Both sides provoked each other. In the case of Russia, Ukraine was the expansion of NATO to Russia's borders and slaughter of Russian-speaking people in eastern Ukraine. And for Israel's own case, it was the October 7th carnage and also the occupation of Gaza and the blunt refusal to adhere to a two-state solution. Yes, we need peace. We need more negotiation. But of course, there's no serious step taken by the West in terms of negotiation at this point, as we speak. At this point,
True. True.
Because first of all, Ukraine is a satellite state right now. It's their boy. They can tell Zelensky to negotiate, but Zelensky has a presidential decree enshrined in their whatever administrative policies not to negotiate with Russia. They are holding a negotiation in Switzerland. Russia is not invited. So it doesn't really speak like there's any real attempt at negotiation.
Okay.
And also we also understand that actually there was negotiation in Turkey and an agreement was reached by both sides, both by Russia and Ukraine, a decision that was acceptable to both, but it was torpedoed by Boris Johnson and the US, allegedly. So if there's a serious, it means that there's real possibility for them. If they could agree then in Turkey, they can agree now. But the demands of both sides and the interests of both sides have to be respected. And then it's very possible to find a middle ground because it has been found before it was torpedoed by Boris Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You know, can I say something? Can I?
Okay.
Let me.
Okay.
Okay, let me just add something.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay, George. Go ahead, George.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is this, because sometimes, like what Dr. Godwin just said, is when it turns to you, you want to, protect your own territory. Your territorial integrity is at stake. You want to protect your own. But when it turns around to the other side, you tend not to want to allow that other nation to do what you did when you were protecting your own. And this is exactly the hypocritical attitude that is happening. Yeah, Russia is involved with Ukraine and all those type of things and whatever the case might be. But when it was in Americans' turn with Cuba, we saw what happened. So, when you see this double standard going on, politicizing the whole entire thing, why not, just sit down, think about the lives that are being lost, forget about the money you're making through weapons, and think about the lives that are being lost. Appease each side, come to a common level of understanding that will be profitable to the whole entire world. When this war started, that's when gas prices skyrocketed, and up until today, it is still there. So every single individual, whether you are a child or an elderly person, you are suffering the brunt of this whole entire war. It doesn't matter whether you're being taken to kindergarten school and then the price of gasoline for your parents are high. You're suffering it. So we really need to come to a place where we will say enough is enough. Let us go, and we all get together, get along together.
I want to concur with what George said just now. And the thing is, the duplicity of the West is outrageous. And I believe that if Joe Biden loses the election, the Ukraine war will be another factor why he loses the election. I'm not a supporter of the Republicans, but Donald Trump said that if he was president, there would be no Ukraine war. You understand? And this is the point. The point is that what is happening to the economy of the world was foreseeable. You understand? Ukraine is the breadbasket of the world. Once you have war there, it's going to affect grain prices the world over. Do you understand? So all these things were inevitable. And what I really find most despicable about the West is that they're not only doing it in Ukraine, they're now shifting it over to Southeast Asia in Taiwan, because they're trying to goad China into another war. Because at the end of the day, Taiwan is part of China. It's always been part of China, but they're trying to make out like there's some kind of independent country. That can never happen. If they were to allow that to happen, that would be a travesty anyway. So we can't have this duplicity of the West. They can't be dictating to other countries how they should rule themselves. If they want to have dictatorships or autocratic governments, it's down to the people within their countries to change it. We shouldn't be trying to change it from outside. And, not only that, they influence people's politics, but you're not allowed to do it in their country. Look at what they're doing in Georgia. They're trying to say they shouldn't change their law to say that foreign people can't be sponsoring, organizers that get involved. Yeah, foreign agents. But if you're a Russian and you're trying to influence their politics in the UK, you're gonna have a problem. Or China, they didn't close China's TV station. The duplicity of the West is beyond me, and I think, I mean, I'm not a fan of autocratic governments, but you know, they shouldn't stop. They should stop this duplicity. You know, and the media is completely biased.
Raji, yes, go ahead. You were trying to say something. Raji, okay, he's off. Okay.
Okay, listen to this. You know, let me just respond to what he just said. You know, the point is this: sometimes we do finger point
just one point, please.
Okay, go ahead, Raji. Go ahead. Raji, go ahead.
Now, if you look at American history, yes, thank you. If you look at American history, there has never been any 10-year period in which America did not have a war since American independence. America thrives on war and meddlesomeness in other people's affairs, and that is what they. In fact, an American president, I think it was Eisenhower, who warned them against the military-industrial complex that is making the whole world be shaky and without peace. America has never pushed for peace. America has always. Unfortunately, we can't. In our own.
Okay, I think we're having.
I think he's having some problems.
Trump,
you know, let it.
Who did
Yeah,
not start a war.
having problems.
It's okay, Raji.
Okay, listen to this. Listen to this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen to this. You know, sometimes what we do, sometimes we become tangents when it comes to finger pointing. Okay, the West, as if any other nation have no voice whatsoever. They have no sovereignty. They have nothing to do with. Okay, we're not doing it. I don't care what you say. I say, you know, whether you're putting embargo or you're putting you know, strict, you know, coming against us economically. The point about it is this: America stands as a superpower, and they are, you know, putting together something to protect some other smaller countries. For instance, what is happening in China now? War is about to break. They have been muscling themselves, doing all kinds of military apparatus around, muscling, doing not only to Taiwan. India is concerned today because of what China is doing, and many countries around them are actually equipping themselves simply because they are watching what is happening in Ukraine, and because China wants to get up. If you listen to Indian news, you will hear that a lot today, because India is so highly concerned because of what China is doing. Now, you talk about Taiwan, it's part of China. The point is, these people have separated themselves. They want to be alone. Why can't they be left alone? Why can't they rule themselves? Why should you amalgamate? No, hold on. Why should you amalgamate them? Isn't it something that happened during the when Europe started dividing Africa? Isn't that something that happened? They came and chopped us.
It's not the same.
Tell me the main reason. I want to know the main reason why China is insisting. Okay, you go ahead, please.
Before you tell him, Godwin, let's welcome our diva, BD Nana from Lagos, Nigeria. BD, you're welcome. It's Friday.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead,
Thank you, welcome. Yeah, so it's very far. It's absolutely not the same thing, because what we are speaking about is not even just the duplicity of the West. We are speaking about interference in external politics. Nobody is saying Taiwan is wrong or Taiwan is right, but what they are saying is that let Taiwan, let India, let the Philippines decide their future, their fate. By arming them, you are a major sponsor of the war. That is exactly what we are saying. And as Raji has pointed out, there's been no decade where the US is not a major sponsor in a war theater around the world. There's just no decade. You can say 10 years. And that major sponsorship of wars, it's always, we all cannot be naive to think that it's because of love for those people. It's a lie. It's for its own interest. For example, the interest of Taiwan now is that they are the semiconductor basket of the world. Once they lose that relevance, and meanwhile, America is not just protecting, it's not just how to say, pretending to protect them. America is also drawing all semiconductor industries to America at the same time, making a hedge so that if they need to dump them, they will not be at problem. They've invited Samsung, they've asked Intel to be making their advanced processing not at TSMC, but in America. They're making all arrangements to make sure that the advanced node processors of the future are no more produced in Taiwan or in South Korea, but on American soil, irrespective of the cost of labor. So when they lose their strategic significance, then all this pretense about love for people will end, just like it ended for Gaddafi, who was once a sweetheart of the West. It ended for Saddam Hussein, who once studied in the United States. It seems to be ending at one point for Saudi Arabia Crown
Thank
Prince.
you very much,
it's
Roderick.
all a phase, and it happens.
Yes, thank you.
Viewers,
you're tuned in to Friday World Affairs, and what we're discussing is the D-Day and all that surrounds it. The D-Day was celebrated here in France, Normandy, yesterday. Everybody, more leaders were there. That day. Let's go on a small break, please. We'll be back in a few minutes, just some seconds. Thank you.
Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand the world as we evolve. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
You're welcome. You're welcome back, viewers. You're welcome, gentlemen, Diva. So, more issues around the globe. More issues are going on, and we need to look into it. One of it is we're going to come to some topic that I want us to dive in more, and that is I know you all probably don't know this, but we're going to talk on the drug issue in Nigeria, drug trafficking, drug NDLA. Thank you, BD, that you're around. So we'll come to that. But before we come to that, we've just talked about the D-Day. We've also talked about Biden's problem. Biden is being, by 9 o'clock today, we will know his fate. George, do you have any update on that since it's your corner? Do you have anything on the Hunter Biden situation?
Well, no, I think you guys have actually discussed it in detail. I was actually listening when you were talking about that.
Yes.
The sentencing will come very soon, and then the prosecutor, they're ending their case, possibly today, and then after that they will know the fate of what is really going on. So basically, that's all that is in there that I know of.
That's all there is.
I'm following and I don't want to waste time with that because you guys discussed it.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to hear a bit of what you just said because it's your corner. You are from that side. So also, George, there is this case of Trump's advisor, that's Steve Bannon, was ordered to. He's supposed to be in jail by now, but he's out and appealing his conviction. But yesterday, the court made it clear that Steve has to come back. He has to be has to start his sentencing. It's a 4-month in prison jail term that he had in 2022. George, is there any story on that? Steve, that's Trump's man, Trump's advisor. That he said he's one of those that siphoned the Congress during that investigation to the U.S. Capitol attack. So, George, anything on that?
Yeah,
Quick one.
you know, lives were lost, and then you know, things happened. And the point about it is this: I know, looking from outside of America, many people will not understand, you know, the major reason why what is happening is happening. You know, we don't want violence. I mean, when the election was over, it was quite clear that Biden won, but America did not, you know, the white America did not want to accept that. And whether we like it or not, this is exactly what is happening. Today, like the question that I will always ask, if a black man or black people were the ones who did half of what happened in that January 6th, where would all of them be today? That is the main question, because when you don't live in the same place, when you do not live in the same place, it is easier to point fingers and do whatever. But if you grew up in America as a black man or another race in that country, you will not, until you live there and experience it yourself, you will not understand part of the reason why what is happening is happening. That's where I grew up. That's where I went to school. So I have lived it. I've experienced racism to the highest core. You know, when you come to Nigeria, we're living in bliss when it comes to tribalism and all those things. Until you get there and experience it yourself, when you know you qualify for a job, but the systemic racism that is taking place will put you down and remain there. You see people coming in, you train them, they become your bosses simply because. So this is what you are seeing. Trump is out today. Yes, Trump is a strong man. I've always liked Trump. I've always liked Trump personally. He's my man because he's my kind of person. But when you come to the whole general understanding of what is really happening, if he was a black man, Steve Bannon would have been in jail from the very word go. There is no mercy on that. Look at what happened in New York.
Thank you.
Look at what happened in New York.
Thank
Yeah,
you, George.
so you got to understand, you know, that's the main issue there.
Thank you. Beautiful. You see, the viewers, you see what we do here, dissect the issue, make you understand it, because news could be going around and sometimes you're caught up. You don't even understand what they're saying. So thank you, George, for that knowledge you've put out. South African ANC, this morning, the president of South Africa, Ramaphosa, says, yes, ANC has lost the parliamentary election, but what he wants to do now is he's seeking for national unity government. So he wants to invite all the other parties to join him to form that unity government. I think we were talking about this last time. We said ANC has lost its hold. Femi, what was it you gave us? Tell us. Ramaphosa says unity government.
Yeah, he wants to do a unity government, but it's going to be difficult for him to find the right partners because the Democratic Alliance, that party, they may not want to join with him. He might not want to be with them. So he's going to be between the economic freedom fighters and the MK. In fact, they were formerly part of ANC anyway, so they would want to be part of the government. But we'll have to wonder what price will they be saying that government has to pay in order for them to be part of the coalition. So, and I think in the South African situation, with the corruption allegations and the way the economy has been going and the hardship for most of the black people, I think I can see there's going to be an alliance with the EFF and MK to really radicalize things in that country. I don't know what that's going to do to the economy and confidence when you think about what happened in Zimbabwe. So we got shaky times ahead in South Africa, and it may it may affect them. But if level heads are allowed to reign, then maybe they can manage it properly.
Okay, BD, we know you also follow the African news. Do you think Ramaphosa will be able to gather this unity government? He's calling for it now. They've lost. ANC has lost its hold. We said it last time. So, BD, tell us what's your observation on this? I think BD's frame is frozen. Okay. Yes. Godwin, are you following the South African news updates?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
I am. While they do not have the enough numbers in terms of in the election. They're still the majority party, rather than the biggest party by margin. And so by agreeing to form a unity government is actually fantastic, a great political savviness on his part. And the manner in which he's trying to do it, he's trying to make sure that not just any particular small party, but a mixture of parties, so that he's not under undue pressure from any particular one party. That's very wise. And is in a position to be able to control the government better in such capacity. But a lot of people are making a big deal out of it, because it's the first time that South Africa has had a unity government. They had it under Nelson Mandela actually twice. And they are kind of used to having unity governments. But I think it depends on how he's able to...
this is everything you need to marry a Nigerian girl.
It depends on how he's ready to include everyone, and obviously it's also good to marry a Nigerian girl.
Okay,
like
guys,
we have
I like that.
rainbow coalition.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Okay,
The major issue, okay, DA right now. I think, like what you just mentioned, that Dr. Godwin is very, very important, because under Madiba, they had that type of government before. They did, and for 2 terms. Yes. So Steinman right now, huh? Say that again. No, what I'm saying is that John Steinhuisen actually, received the next highest vote, which is about 21% or thereabout, versus the 40 that this guy has received. And based on one-sided government that has been happening, maybe it will be a balanced government if they join with with Steinman. I think it would be good, because there's been an outcry from white folks in that place after what happened for hundreds of years, suppressing the people of South Africa. Possibly, if they join forces with DA, it might be good for South Africa. That's what I think. Because otherwise, the other parties that are remaining, one, they cannot get along, the leaders cannot get along, and the other one is an economic, whatever. These are almost like, I don't know if I will call them they're too radical. They're too radical to bring peace in the country. I believe two of these, they can come together and then reach a level of understanding.
Yes, guys, thank you for putting your radars on all of these corners. We want to have an update. I know this is global affairs, but BD, what is the state of the minimum wage? Yesterday was the deadline the presidency gave to the Minister of Finance. What has the Minister of Finance come up with yesterday? Some people said he said 103, 100 and blah, blah, and he came out and said he has not said anything. But we know he has given out something, but he's still discreet. Tell us, BD, what's the update?
They've not actually given anything to hold on to. Yeah, okay. They're actually still throwing a blame game. The Bayo Anonuga said that Bayo Anonuga and the George Akume, they are still blaming, and George Akume, they are still blaming the Labour and CUC. They are saying that if it was in the military regime, that they wouldn't go free for what they did by shutting down the national grid and blocking an airport just because they are protesting. And the George Akume, the SG of
SGF,
the country, now said that he can't even pay his drivers 100,000. That's what Nigerian workers are asking for is not visible. So that they've not really come up with anything visible,
tangible
as of today. Yeah, as of today, they've not come up with anything visible as of today.
So, but that means, what do you think the NLC will do by Monday? The strikes continue, the protests.
My dear, I don't even trust the NLC again. Whatever they will do is in their pocket, because they are not. They don't. You see, as an activist, do you understand? As an activist, your words speak for you. The NLC, I can't even understand them, because for even calling off that strike between a day and one shows that they are not even serious on what they are asking for, what they are demanding for. They shouldn't have called off that strike. They should have at least be sure of something before calling off that strike. Nigerian government are holding them as a courtroom. So as it stands now, NSC and TEC are kind of confused. I'm telling you, starting this strike again on Monday, I don't think it's possible. So let's watch and see what we'll do. But for federal government, they are not ready to give them anything. The least they can give, from what I heard, is 75,000. That's what I heard. Not eligible. Do you understand? I don't think they will pay them up to. They will offer them up to 100,000.
So please, can I just say something? The strike action in the first instance started on the very wrong footing by actually turning the whole population against them, by shutting down the national grid. They could have gone on with their strike as long as possible, but shutting down that national grid became a treasonable felony for which they are still going to be charged for it.
They're still going to be charged for it.
You know what? Sometimes.
There's nothing like treasonable felony in that. They need to. It's not the first time.
National grid.
It's not the first time they are going on a strike in this country, and
I'm not talking about the strike. I'm talking about shutting down the national grid.
This is not the first time. At least this is the second time they're expressing it. And now, if they don't do what they did, they will have gotten the attention.
They will not have had that attention that they're getting. So you're dealing with an obstinate in people that are very, very, very obstinate in their behavior. No, the bottom line to it is this: sometimes, a very dire situation like this might require such action to take place in order to call attention. To say, listen,
it doesn't go to, it doesn't include treason.
If you have a government that is not listening, look at what is going on now.
Does not include treason.
Can you allow me to speak? Can you allow me to speak?
Shutting down the national grid is treason.
Allow me to speak.
Pure and simple.
Interrupting. What is this? What I'm saying is this. Number one is sometimes there might be a situation where this type of situation is required, because if you're dealing with look at this now, the judges only when you want to overthrow the government. This is so crazy, man. Stop misbehaving like this.
Guys,
you need to stop this. Can I just finish my statement, please? Can I finish my statement?
Let Judge finish.
Finish my statement. Stop being rude. What I'm saying is this: if a government refuses to listen, they just passed in the House. They just passed 300% increase for the judiciary, and then the House and the Senate, they just gave themselves a fat increase with no opposition whatsoever. Now, when it comes to the people, you're still dilly-dallying. Given the opportunity to have come up with a figure, you have not. You give them 48, you give them 57, then you put 3,000 on top, and then you're still dancing with it. What do you expect the people that can checkmate you to do? They did what they had to do. I do not agree with that. But when you come to the people where it's all about themselves, they have hardship allowance. The people that are suffering the hardship, they have no allowance. Are you just sitting over there making rules and laws that are, that is favoring you? What do you expect the public to do? Because now the next thing will be for people to take gun and go to Aso Rock. You don't want to do that. You have to be fair, compassionate towards the people.
Thank you, Judge.
That's all I'm saying.
You can attempt to do that and see what will happen.
Guys, do you have anything on this? I know
it's
your part.
So for me, anything that Labour wants to do, let them do it, but it must be within the law. And for me, if they had a national strike without cutting off electricity, it would have been just as powerful. You don't have to cut electricity in order to make your point. And then they could have gone on this indefinite. In fact, I want them to go on an indefinite strike with no pay, no work, no pay. We'll see how long they will last not working. This is ridiculous. And at the end of the day, they're in the middle of negotiation. The Trade Union Act says if you you want to go on strike, you have to, first of all, ballot your members. They didn't ballot their members. They went on strike. That already is illegal. Okay, there's an existing injunction stopping them from striking. That's also illegal. They tampered with the electricity. That's illegal. Now, the problem in Nigeria, I keep saying it, it's a lawless state of many lawless Nigerians doing lawless stuff. And there's no one prosecuting them. Now, if the laws were being enforced, trust me, Godwin, know what you're saying, you won't be saying it because they would be in jail right now. And then people won't do that next time. I'm not saying that Labour shouldn't protest or they shouldn't do the strike, but let's do it within the ambit of the law. Anything you do that's within the law, I'm supporting you 100%. And yes, we need a new minimum wage, but a new minimum wage is a tripartite between the government, the private sector, and the unions. Government alone cannot negotiate that thing. So if the three of them don't agree, you're going to have problems. And if you put a figure that is too high, it's not even going to be enforced anyway. So what's the point of that? What's the point of a minimum wage that's not enforceable?
All right, Fem. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you.
I want to say
the network. You want to say something?
Yeah, I wasn't allowed to speak on this topic.
Minutes extra. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I do think that the NLC has the right to strike, obviously, but I'm wondering. I'm more concerned about the result of the strike. First of all, the strike does not bring any tangible, hasn't brought any tangible thing. For example, if you increase the price to 100,000, all you and companies that, and if companies cannot afford it, all you would have successfully done is increase the unemployment rate. Now, you need the country to be working. There's a lot of hunger, lots of mouths to feed. You can't shut down the national grid because who suffers? The people that you're striking to gain their attention, they can survive if you turn off the electricity grid for 1 month. They have generators, they have alternate power, they can put solar up, they have everything. But the people that suffer are the people who you pretend to protect. And those are the people that I don't want to suffer. So the first thing that should be more tangible things like reducing the price of fuel, reducing transportation costs, reducing electricity costs, and things that make the life of people better. If you can reduce that, then you increase automatically their disposable income, which is another way of increasing their salary without actually increasing it. So I think they shouldn't tamper with things that can affect the livelihood of majority of Nigerians if they truly care about them.
Wow, strong talk. Fellas, it's still Friday of Foreign Affairs, but let's look at something that also concerns us, Nigerians in diaspora and also Nigerians back home. George got angry that 90 billion was earmarked for Hajj pilgrim, like they call it. And something terrible happened in that midst. Yesterday, last night, these people you see there, 4 suspects were caught in the room in a hotel where they were lodged in, preparing to go for the Hajj with pallets of cocaine weighing about 2.20 kilograms. They've swallowed up and they were waiting to take the flight. Now they are going on a trip that we are sponsoring, and they are going also to sell drug out there. Now, can NDLA stands for, like you all know, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Can NDLA really fight the drug issue in Nigeria? So we're talking hard drug, cocaine. We're talking hard drug trafficking in Nigeria and how it affects people, how it affects our economy, how it affects everything. Yes, we're talking drugs. So guys, let me hear you. This is what happened last night. It was a big raid in the hotel where they were. So, and what that means is they've been doing this. When people go to Hajj, some people put in this thing in their stomach, take to Hajj and sell. Because Hajj is also saying, Saudi Arabia is also saying, other Hajj people do same thing. They come from different corners of the world to the Hajj with drugs on them. So we're now putting our focus on Nigeria. Femi, we know that the chairman and chief executive of NDLA, Ahmed Buba Marwa, he's my old boy. He went to the same secondary school. We know he's doing some pretty good job, but can he really fight this drug case? Can he really go against these kind of cases?
Yeah. Well, he's doing a great job, and we thank him for what he's doing. And it's good that President Tinubu retained him in position and he didn't change it. But what I want to say really is that those people that were caught should be thankful that they were caught in Nigeria, because if they were caught in Saudi Arabia, it's the automatic death penalty. You know, they would have their heads chopped off and that's it. No, there would be no questions asked. So they're lucky that they got caught in Nigeria. I did watch a video where they was making fun that we now have people from Indigos going on Hajj. And I was laughing and I said, so we got traders going to Hajj now and the government is paying for it. But this is not a funny thing, you know. We shouldn't. We should stop doing drugs as a nation and not making Nigeria a conduit for drugs. But, you know, NDLA, if those NDLA people wanted to be really horrible, they could have let them go on that trip, knowing that they got the drugs, and then tipped them off in South Africa, in Saudi Arabia, and then let them get the death penalty. They could have done that. Thankfully, they didn't. So, yeah.
Can I say something?
Yes, George, I want to ask you this. 14% of Nigerians, they say, are presently engaged in hard drug abuse. 14%. And that number probably could be higher than that. So, George, do you think they can fight the war against drug in Nigeria?
Well, I mean, it's not something that you can, you know, guarantee 100% that you can be able to fight it and eradicate it completely, you know, because some people do drugs, you know, for, you know, as it's a social drug and they have fun with it. Some people do because of depression or because of, you know, hardship. But the situation that we are ignoring here is that these people that were swallowing this thing, they were just, you know, the puppets. The main individual who is sending them to swallow this drug to bring it over there, their Oga Pata might be one of the main people, either in government or one of these big people that are doing it. These people are puppets. They were just being paid for transporting this thing there. And then what we need to do in investigation is find out who was it that got them involved and who got their tickets for this Hajj, or were they just among the 90 billion that was, you know, put in there. But somebody is in charge, and somebody big, either in government or in the social circle, is among the people that are sending these people that are swallowing these things are puppets. They're going to just pay them peanuts. So that's what we need to really understand and, you know, look into.
Thank you. BD, George, first of all, yes, these are part of the people going under that 90 billion arrangement. And unfortunately enough, they are doing this. BD, we know that Buba Marwa has been doing a lot. He has done a lot. He has pushed boundaries and broken a lot of cartels arrangements. But these people are gaining more strength, more every day. And somehow it's rubbing on us because this is what the world will see and say, Nigeria, we're all like this. Bidi, what do you think can be done? How do you think this whole thing, I mean, what's a way to really stop, I mean, in a little way, what way could we put in to stop this?
Oh, no.
Go ahead.
You're muted.
Yeah.
Okay. I like what he said. He said that this thing, the drug cartel, is actually growing. It shows that we have a breakdown of law and order, and the hardship in the society is becoming too much. Now, we should all learn to actually look at the root cause of things. You understand? What to warrant somebody who is going to a holy land to pray? I know that we are hypocrites, but aside that, what to warrant somebody who is going to a holy land to pray, to accept to carry drugs, if not hardship, if not poverty? Do you understand?
What about greed? What about greed? What about greed?
Yeah, greed too. Yeah, greed is part of it too. So we should look at those things that are fueling those greed, those poverty. Do you understand? Those are the things we should look at. If we tackle those things, this That's the only way we can reduce this thing. We can't reduce it by telling people, oh, don't carry drugs, don't do drugs, it's not good. But it's by making the life of people get better. That's the easiest way we can reduce it.
Thank you very much. Billy has said it part. Anybody wants to say anything?
Yeah, I want to say something. Look, Saudi Arabia is a very beautiful country. It's actually part of BRICS. And I would like to visit Saudi Arabia, but I would like to save on the cost of travel. What do you think? Do I join the Hajj?
I think you should. Assalamu alaikum.
That is
Nice.
a good one.
Godwin.
That's a good one.
Listen, Godwin has brought it to a close. We have to go now, guys.
That's it. That's it. That's
yes,
it.
Godwin
Thank you.
Godwin,
You lightened it up. You brought yes.
thank you,
Sit
Godwin. That was a good one.
sit on
I
it.
value your advice. I value your
Witty.
advice.
Alhaji Ibe.
Yes.
I'm wondering why Raji is not on that trip.
I wonder why Raji.
Why would I be on that trip?
Why would you not?
I'm not a Muslim. I'm not interested.
With a name like Raji.
Yes,
All right,
Raji.
I've met a Reverend.
Let's come Monday.
I've met a Reverend Mohammed.
Okay, let's come Monday. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for coming. Go have a beautiful weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Viewers, thank you. It's been beautiful out here today.
Have a nice weekend, guys.
So some clips from the DJ again before we go. Clips from DJ.
Right here, not sunny. Them right here, sir? There we go. David, how are you? Comme ça? You can be in the shade. They wanted to be here. Okay. Là, c'est bon?
Looking for the right answers to hard and sometimes confusing global events? Look no further. SSM's team brings unique perspectives from across the globe. Our in-depth independent reporting is to make you better understand